Great.
Okay, I'm Fausta Phelan. I have a company called FCP Leadership Services. I started this company a year ago because I realized if you're not living in your passion, you cannot exceed in your life. You can survive, but you won't thrive. A dream I've always had is writing a book, and it's about to come out. I'm getting the first printed copy in 2 weeks. It's called Living Baggage Free, and it is the whole reason why I am a leadership coach as opposed to a life coach or business coach. Next slide, please. So a life coach is about personal growth, right? Makes sense, right? Your personal life. A business coach focuses on your business. A leadership coach does both. Because what I've recognized, and you could switch slides, what I've recognized is when I spoke in the 45-second, life is about SWOT, and I consider myself a SWOT guru. You have strengths, you have weaknesses. We all have opportunities, and sometimes we miss them, and we miss them because of those threats in our lives that hold us back. So if you're a company, it's very much the same. So that's why leadership became very important to me, because the way I got out of my baggage or manage my baggage is because I went through leadership development training. Because if you're not a good leader within, you cannot lead without. If you're not a good leader within and you are an owner of a company, you're only going to be as good as the baggage that you keep inside you. So leadership focuses on who you are as a person, so who you can be for others. So SWOT, who does not know what SWOT means? Cool. SWOT is a very common business 101 marketing tool. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I love working this. For businesses, this is about culture. So with personal, if you always find yourself, if you want to think about what kind of person I'm looking for, you always know somebody who's finding themselves over, rebuilding their life over and over again, been divorced multiple times, whatever, gone through a lot of jobs. That person needs help with their SWOT. Businesses, high turnover, bad culture, feeling like they're never meeting their goals, quality of work is bad, or you always seem to be chasing and never seem to be ahead. Their SWOT needs work. Next slide, please. So, backwards.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I pushed the wrong one.
So how do I help companies, and how do I help people? Through several different ways I can help people with SWOT. Public speaking, and by the way, mark your calendar, January 14th, I'm speaking at Rutherford Cable. It is a women's organization, but men are welcome to go. And it's gonna be my Living Baggage Free, which would be a great way to start your new year. I do it through DISC profiles. These are samples of DISC profiles. If anybody wants to look at them, they're 34 pages long. This is the beginning of understanding who you are as a leader, who you are inside yourself. I use this all the time when I coach because it helps me get to you a lot faster. So our dance has a specific ending, and otherwise I'm guessing how you like to be communicated to. So this is all about communication, all about developing yourself. I do something called a mastermind. So if you on your tables, there's several sheets on there. One is about DISC. All those others are mastermind classes that I do with groups, whether it's a church group, a business group, just a group of people with a minimum of 6 people, and we go over 8 weeks of leadership training based on one of John Maxwell's books. And then I have a fun thing called the leadership game, and that is your icebreaker for a company. If you have a problem with your culture, hire me for the leadership game. Tell somebody that there's a leadership game, because that is going to break the ice. Because when you have a problem with the culture, people don't like to speak. They don't like to stand up. They don't like to be abrasive. So this game solves that problem. So that's how I do it. Next slide, please. So that leads me to this book of Living Baggage Free, because in my leadership training, I have recognized that it's all about the baggage you carry. Companies have baggage because we're all people. So your leader is only as good as the baggage they carry. So this is a memoir of my life, and I kind of talked a little bit about it, about surviving and thriving from your baggage. Whether I come from a very abusive, violent, drug-infested upbringing, this is a story about what I went through and what I've done through my leadership development to overcome it. This book can be applied to a business or to a personal life. and I feel it is my calling from God that's taking my leadership coaching to the next level, because this is where I really want to focus on. Who you are is going to make you great if you focus on getting rid of your baggage. Next slide, please. So I have here, because of what I do, there isn't something I could just say, oh, well, I need, ask them this, ask them that. Because it's coaching, I'm going to have to ask you to take a deeper dive. You're going to have to really trust the person that's in front of you and have a good enough relationship with being able to have deeper-ended questions. So for example, is there a time when you observed others making self-destructive choices? So if you know somebody who has kids and they're seeing that their kids are making destructive choices, or you know somebody that's a college student, or you just know somebody that's ask them, have you ever thought about that? If you could fix that, what would that look like? Open-ended questions are the best way you're going to be able to give a referral to me. I have this list of all these open-ended questions that you can think about, and those questions are going to help you recognize who might need a coach, what business needs a coach. My favorite one, next slide please, is this one. Reflect on the perfectionism in your life. Okay, who here says that they're a perfectionist? Thinks they're a perfectionist? So this person is a person I would love to coach, because perfectionists spend so much time trying to be perfect that they stop moving forward because it's never good enough. A perfectionist raising kids can be tough. So how do you teach perfectionists to have some flexibility in their life? Those are the things. So I have all these handouts because you will have to, they're thought-provoking questions that you need to take a deeper dive. That means that you would have to be a really good listener that's going to trigger one of these questions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, next slide, please. So, who are my clients? From a personal perspective, I love people from the ages of 18 to 35. I have screwed up my life so bad during this time that I feel, since it took me 50 years to figure this out, if I can help somebody that age, save them from making the mistakes that I've made, then I've done something good for God. College speaking groups, love those. Christian women's groups, so churches. I would love to get into churches. There's a biblical disc program that I have. It's amazing, where you're compared to an apostle. It's awesome. Women's retreats and organizations. These are the challenges they have. Next slide, please. I'm trying to keep within the 2 minutes. Businesses. Now, everybody asks me, what's the amount of people? 2, 5, 100? I got to tell you, it's really about the willingness that they want to better their team. It's not about the money, it's about the willingness. I can work with 5 people, I can work with 500 people. It really depends on the companies, what they're looking for, and their discovery purpose. So that's why I would say, if you're looking at a company for me, don't isolate me in a box. Ask the questions, and you'll get the answers. Next slide. And that's who I am. Woo. Just wanted to say that I am a veteran, so if you know of a company that's veteran-oriented, Fred's Flooring, I would love to get in there because I'm a veteran as well. Any questions?
Great job.
Something? Does anybody want any of these sheets? Next slide. Questions? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping I'm educating you a little bit.